Good morning. Welcome to another video. This video is going to cover some of my goals for the upcoming year of 2023. It's hard to believe it's already here, but today that I'm recording this video is Saturday the 31st. So hopefully you're seeing it shortly after the new year has begun. That will be the first goal, is to have it up soon. But without further ado, I just want to dive right into some of my goals, areas of improvement for myself in the new year, and also talk about the why for these things and the how. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the main things that I intend to work on for the year, and then maybe dive into answering the question of why. Why am I seeking to do these things more, and then also how. I don't want to try to set some goal without having a how, and by January 15th not be doing that thing anymore. So number one on my list, which I think should be on everyone's list, is we could say to read more. But before we even get started, many of you have probably heard of the book by James Clear, and it is called Atomic Habits. So many of these things that I'm talking about today are obviously things that I will want to be habits. And so if you've read that book, Atomic Habits, you know that when setting goals and habits that you want to set in place, it's usually not a good practice just to say, do this more. That's kind of what seems like most people do with New Year's resolutions. And by January 31st, they're already not doing that thing at all. And so in reading that book, James Clear, you find that a simple thing to do is quantify what it is that you want to, quote unquote, do more of. So for me, number one on my list is reading. My goal is to read a minimum of 24 books in the year 2023. I guess I could have set it for 23 books, but go with an even number here. And the reason for that is, first of all, I want to read at least 2 books a month, something that I don't think is too hard. And I haven't done it yet for this video, but you can, each book that you plan to read, simply break it down based on the number of pages, how fast you read, and then divide that by the 2 weeks to see how quickly and how many pages and for how long you need to read each day. And you'll find that it's really not that long if you just do it consistently. So for me, that's my number one. And the how of that is, here's a couple things that I think might help you. And this can be applied really to any goals that you might want to do. So the first thing that I did last year that really helped me was to keep a book list. So I set it up in sort of a checklist form, but I did this list form, a checklist of, I got quite a few books for Christmas last year, and put them on a list and then just checked them off as I went throughout the year. Super basic. What I'm doing this year is going to do the same thing, have a reading list, but this year I'm going to, one of the things I want to work on is reading more categories. So what I'm going to do is divide my reading list into categories, and then throughout the year work on those different categories. I have a couple of reading lists which I can post as well that I have found over time and just through a little bit of research. But the book that I referenced, Atomic Habits by James Clear, that author has a pretty good reading list on his website, and I can note that. And then also this one it's a lot more secular and psychology focused, and some pretty dense things. But Jordan Peterson, many of you probably heard of, he has a very extensive reading list on his website as well. And then one from an apostolic individual is Tony Mancino. I think is how you say his name. If any of you follow him on Twitter, you know he's a major book enthusiast and reviewer. And so I have a reading list from him that he posted. I think it's on Apostolic Review, but I'll post that in the description as well. So the why read more? Number one, it makes you more literate. You can't really talk about something that you don't know anything about. And so being more literate, and something you'll notice too as we go through the other two of my goals for the year, is they really do all connect. Because when I set goals, and these are things that I look at throughout the year, I'm looking at things that will improve me as an individual holistically. Two is to improve my communication skills, or better put, I think would be to become a better communicator. And so again, asking the question of why and how. The first why for me is really simply the ability to express myself more accurately. And this is why I say it connects very much with reading. You can't use words that you don't know. You can't express thoughts that you haven't learned. And so reading is very crucial for this. So number one why for me is that very reason, is to be able to express, just express myself more fully, more accurately. And because I think that reason connects to friendships, to relationships, being able to show, gratitude, appreciation, love, all these different things that require words so often. One of the things I learned in kind of preparing for this is an exercise, and it was in passing, so I don't have a reference for it, but I believe it was a TED Talk on how to improve your communication. And it was a quick exercise that I haven't yet tried, but I want to. And the exercise was to record yourself in a video, and record yourself talking about something you're passionate about, and do the video for 5 minutes and have it be unscripted. That's why it's something you're passionate about. Talk about it. And then to improve your communication, go back and, without watching it, listen to that video, just audio only. Listen to it and make notes on the things that stand out to you, that in yourself, your voice, your inflection, all those things. And then secondly, watch back the video with no audio, just simply watching your body language, facial expressions, all those things, and make notes again. And then the third thing, and the third time, what you'll do is get the video transcribed. So get it turn into text, and then essentially just edit that document now that originally was your video, and now it's a text. Edit that and highlight and in red all of the filler words, all of the unnecessary, maybe run-on sentences, just things that don't need to be there, that cause the main idea of what you're saying to be lost. And you do that numerous times, and you'll begin to, of course, recognize some things that you don't like about how you communicate, and you fine-tune and eliminate the ums, the I's, the knows, and all those filler words that are kind of put in place of actually having a thought and something to speak. So another thing, which is, again, another segue, is writing, to write more. But again, it needs to be quantifiable, and this is one that I'm still working on. I guess you could say I'm still working on quantifying, because this is a habit I've wanted to have for a long time, but it's probably been one of the hardest habits for me to form, and that is writing. So again, it connects to all this. I've tried to write and somewhat kind of journal as I read books, and I do this with scripture more so, but it's something I tried to implement with just every book that I read, and that didn't really last. But I think it connects to improving communication skills. Writing becomes a calming thing. It becomes a way to organize my thoughts in my mind and get the thoughts on paper where I can see them, just like with that video exercise to improve communication skills. And I think it's the same concept. It's the same thing. You write what you're thinking, and you sort it out. You edit it. You fine tune it. Make it more clear. Make it more direct, and improve as a communicator in doing so. But you also improve as a thinker. You improve the clarity of your mind and your thoughts. And so that's connected to being a better communicator, but also individually, I want to write more. And I don't necessarily have the how of that one. I have the why, like I just talked about, but the how is a little more vague at the moment. One thing specifically that I want to do is, even if it's just for 5 minutes, that's, I guess, for me right now, the quantifiable portion is, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, sort of journaling some thoughts, journaling whatever, even just for the act of writing to check it off for the day, just doing it and knowing that if I start with just 5 minutes, it will be easier from there. So I'm going to bring this to an end. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If any of these topics or goals that I've mentioned today are on your list also, or things that you want to improve, I'd love if you would reach out, send me a message of how you plan to do this. Send me book recommendations, and especially send me your practices. Maybe it's not something you're working on this year. Maybe it's something you've already perfected, specifically when it comes to writing. So if you have any tips or tricks for any of these things, feel free, send them my way, and let's improve and get better together in 2023. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next one.